Good morning, church. I admit when I was asked to preach today, I was reluctant because every time I thought about preaching, I started thinking about what was going on in the world and I would get angry. I felt like I can't make a difference. The world is hard. Let us pray. Gracious Lord, give us strength that we may hold each other up. Let us know that there is always a hand close by to hold, and always a brother or sister to help us back up. And when we can't see those people near us, let us know that you are close, and you will hold us up. Amen. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but there's kind of a lot going on in the world. Like a lot. There's wars and hate. There's pain. Some issues have been here for a long time, and some seem very new. Division seems to be at a breaking point. There seems to be a new storm of the century every year. A new once-in-a-lifetime event happens. I've lived through multiple once-in-a-generation events. And I'm only in my mid-30s. It always seemed like something bad is just around the corner, and then around the corner, and again, and around that corner too. Watching the news feels like a chore, an exercise in self-destruction. I wish I didn't know any of it. I wish I didn't care. I wish I couldn't care. Let's take a deep breath and recenter. It is okay to feel overwhelmed in this world. The world is, in fact, overwhelming. It's okay to feel like sometimes we're not making a difference, that the powers that be will continue to be. It's okay to feel these things. It's okay to even doubt if we can make a difference. Now, I want to focus on three major things today. The first is your own well-being. Or as one of our great philosophers of our time put it, do what's good for you, or you're not good for anybody. Thank you, Billy Joel. This is the part where we lighten up a little bit. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting to actually cry as I did this, so. Now, I'm a big believer that if you spend all your time caring for everyone around you and never care for yourself, you will eventually get burnt out and then cannot care for or about anything. It is not selfish to take some time to yourself. It is not selfish to engage in self-care. I am very much preaching to myself right now. I often get worked up with what's happening in the world, if you couldn't notice. I will often worry about the people in my life and how they are doing before I think and take a second to worry about myself. I will often neglect my own well-being for someone else. My mother told me years ago that I have a Jesus complex, although I don't know if I should admit that at church. I admit that I'm not the best role model for taking care of myself when others call upon me for help. I admit that I take on more than I can handle if someone asks me. I am horrible at saying no. I'm a people pleaser, and I think a lot of us feel that way sometimes. That we won't stand up for ourselves when we need me time. One of the reasons I admittedly have a therapist, to keep me grounded and focused on me for at least 1 hour a week. Now, that may not be the answer for all of you, but as many have told me, everyone would benefit from therapy, and some more than others. It's important to remember that if you feel that taking me time is selfish, that even Jesus took naps. Jesus took time away from his disciples, Sometimes he took a nap, like in Mark 4:38. It's the story when Jesus and the disciples were crossing the sea, and it said that Jesus was on a cushion on the stern taking a nap in the middle of a storm. So it is okay to rest. The point that I'm trying to make is that it's okay to take time to yourself, to care for yourself, and to spend some time with God. This is the most important type of me time. The time you spend with God. Some people will do this with verbal prayer, others by sitting on the beach or taking a hike in the woods. Jesus often took times away from others to pray and to be in the presence of his Father. He did this after tending to the sick, after he learned of the death of John the Baptist, and before he was going to be betrayed. He took time to himself to be with God. It is also important to remember that you are not expected to do this alone. It is okay to ask for help if you are not doing so hot. See a therapist. Talk to pastor. Sorry to volunteer all your time, pastor. Speak to a friend, a family member. If you are not okay, please let someone know. We want to help you. You are not alone. Remember that we are designed for companionship. From the time of the first man and woman, God wanted us to have others near us. God does not want us to be lonely or to stay removed from others at all times. Now, the next thing I want to address is our community, or as I'll focus today, our church. Another great philosopher of our time put it elegantly, apes together strong, or Caesar from Planet of the Apes. This week is Laity Sunday, in case you were not aware, which I wrote this before I knew that was going to come up, so you're all aware. And that means all of us, except the clergy. Sorry, Pastor. This is you and I, the people of the church. This is a specific Sunday in the life of the church where we celebrate the work of us, the people of the church. We are what makes the church's work possible alongside with God. The feeding ministry, the music ministry, the ushers, all fronted by the laity of the church. We provide our gifts so our building can be maintained, which allows us to serve our community through things like the preschool and giving a place for groups to meet when they're trying to get better, without any judgment. These things are possible because of the people of the church. When I think of the readings today, for when we go out together to work, to do good work together, not just as one, the good work is magnified. When you fall, someone is there to help you up. We can keep our spirits warm together because we aren't isolated. When the task seems too large or the problem too powerful, we have each other. We are yoked together just as we are yoked to Jesus. For context, the yoke is that piece of wood that connects beasts of burden. So that way you know when things are weighing down on you, other people are there to lift you back up. When you're losing your strength, you are connected to Christ. He will help take up our burden and to light the load. Though our connection to Christ, our connection to each other, continues to allow us to do good work, God will assist those in our community. Lastly, the world around us, the greater community, our brothers and sisters and siblings around the world. For this, I will continue to lean on one of the modern philosophers of our time, saying, to know is to care is to act is to make a difference. This is from Harry Chapin. Now, unfortunately, knowing is a big part of this. And knowing, for me personally, causes me a great deal of harm. But it is important to learn about the issues that plight our fellow man. Please remember part 1 of this sermon. Now, the first step to learning is to care enough to do so. To care enough to take time out of our days to think about and learn about the problems that people face. It is also okay to admit if you don't know a lot about something and ask and learn. I think about our racial healing group on this. If you hadn't noticed, if you look around, our church is particularly white. And so is our racial healing group. But we can take time to learn about how things work, even though if most of us in this building can never truly know what it's like to be victimized by racism. It is important for us to learn for those who came before, for those who studied the issue, and to lay the trail for those who come after. The next step is to act. Acting can take many forms. Sometimes making a difference in the world is something as simple as changing something in your personal life, such as removing single-use plastics or something like that nature. Admittedly, a lot harder to do and harder to do every year. Sometimes acting is petitioning your elected officials to do their job and to protect us all. Sometimes it's writing your senator, or sometimes it's going to a protest. Sometimes acting is providing food or money to an organization, sending those supplies or medical supplies to a war-torn area of the world. But one thing I'm fairly sure about is that we are not called to sit by and just let it happen. We aren't called to make excuses as to why things are a certain way just because they have been. I will invoke one last quote. This time from the Jewish text, the Pirkei Avot, which reads, "You are not obligated to complete the work, neither are you free to abandon it." We are disciples of Christ. Christ came to make a change. God knew, God cared, God acted, and we are taught on how to make a difference. To care for our neighbors as ourselves, to feed the hungry, set free the prisoner, and to clothe the naked. We are a religion of faith, yes, but we are also a religion of action. For when Jesus said, what you have done to the least of my brothers, you have done to me," we are being called to act. We are called to know, we are called to care, we are called to act, we are called to make a difference. Now, our church has taken a very big step in being a loving and welcoming church, and that can go a long way. We can do a lot of work as a community, as we are, of course, but we can do even more good as a larger community. We can spread out the responsibility of different groups so no one feels burnt out. We can do more outreach into the community. We can pool our greater resources of time and talents and do good work in the world around us. We are the light of the world. We can push through the darkness. We can lighten the corner that you are in and invite others to join us. Many hands do light work, and there's no better work than to show our love for God than caring for one another. And this is good news. And for that I say, thanks be to God. Amen.